What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about things you should never do in the UK. These are the don'ts of UK culture, and honestly, I feel like this video should almost be mandatory viewing for Americans who plan on visiting the UK, just because this is literally a guide on how to not be the American tourist who is disrespectful and ignorant and loud and annoying, and just how to behave ourselves because we tend to not be very worldly. We know how we do things in the United States, and to be honest, we can be a bit crazy, and we don't expose ourselves much to other cultures like the UK. So a lot of Americans just behave like Americans. And I thought it'd be really, really interesting to take a look at this video where people from the UK are going to list things that they think people should never do in the UK, or at the very least, you are going to be looked at disapprovingly or socially outcast or worse. So I am interested to see what we have here. Let's take a look.
As a native Brit, give me one of the don'ts of British culture.
Okay.
You must never stand on the left of an escalator, especially when in the London Underground.
This is not the first place I expected this video to go, but this is a good one, and this is actually something that exists in the United States. You're supposed to do this, but my God, do people never do this? Yeah, if you're on an escalator, you get on to the right. Go to the right if you're just standing still, so people can pass you on the left. This is kind of sad already because Americans are supposed to know this one already. But, I mean, Americans don't even follow this rule half the time here in the United States, so I don't see it getting any better when Americans or tourists go to the UK, sadly.
Yeah, everyone hates it when you do that,
Yes.
so never do that.
Yes.
So the first thing that comes into my mind is don't jump forward in a queue.
Right, okay.
Queue in a nice, neat order. Don't.
Oh boy, this is not good. This is not good. This is, now from what I've seen so far, this is like Americans just need to see this and behave this way in America too, not even just the UK, but I know that jumping the queue is especially bad in the UK. In the United States, we call this waiting in line or cutting in line, and Americans are so bad about this. It's to the point where people, like Americans, kind of almost expect someone to cut in line. If you're at an amusement park or even waiting in line for the cashier at the grocery store, it is not totally unheard of. It's not that crazy that you see someone who looks like they don't understand what a line or queue is, which is really baffling how they got up to that point in their life, and are acting like they have no idea what's going on. Or, God forbid, if you leave too much distance between you and the rest of the queue, like a few extra feet, just because you want your personal space, Americans will just hop right in, like, oh, you were in line here? But you were a couple feet away from the next person. And it's like, my God, it's so bad here. And again, I don't see this behavior getting that much better in the UK. Maybe Americans would be on, hopefully, a little better behavior in the UK. But yeah, this is a bad one.
Don't jump the queue.
Okay. Never say pants instead of trousers because that's just wrong. It's trousers. Pants are a different thing.
This is, so, okay, pants in the UK are underwear. Stuff you wear underneath all your clothing, underneath your clothing that you usually don't show to too many other people. And you wear in the privacy of your home. Yeah, that stuff. And this is, unfortunately, I feel like this is something, they're kind of laughing about it, so I know this one's not that serious. And that's a good thing, because Americans, I already know, like I can already tell in my own mind, I would have such a difficult time with this, because we spent our entire life as little Americans here growing up saying pants when we mean trousers. In the UK, we'd mean trousers. We've always said pants our entire life, and it's normal. So that would be such a difficult habit to break. At least this is at least a funny one. It would just be kind of funny, right, in the UK, whereas not waiting in queue or not being on the right side of the escalator, that's just annoying behavior. But this one's kind of okay.
Okay, so then what are pants?
Pants are underwear.
Yeah.
I discovered here
Yeah.
queues. You know, we don't queue elsewhere in the world, so that was a good thing.
I mean, I'm glad he said that almost, because the queuing thing, I am a little confused about it because it comes across like people in the UK queue for everything and anything. Americans will at least respect a queue or wait in line if there's, a very clearly defined line, or they've put up some ropes and barriers to define a line. If you just expect Americans to form a queue out of thin air, out of nothing, just because it is something people are waiting for, good luck with that. No chance.
And then there was the off license closing at 11.
Off license closing at 11. I actually don't know what an off license is. Maybe I can look this up. Off license meaning, okay, this is a thing. Like Google says this is a thing. This could be an off license is a license to sell liquor. Like you can't buy liquor past 11? Is that what this is saying? You can't buy alcohol past 11? Hold on, this is huge. I'm not sure if I'm understanding this correctly, but if that's true, that you can't buy liquor or alcohol past 11, that is gonna be very, very, very tough for a lot of Americans to swallow. You're hitting Americans right where it hurts with that one. Americans really depend on being able to get alcohol anywhere, at any time of the day, in the most crazy, every little convenience store or gas station or any little shop. Usually you can get alcohol. It's kind of funny when I think about it, but it is so common, and Americans definitely get used to that.
Well, when you get in someone's way, or you get to a door about the same time as them, we always say sorry automatically, when actually most of the time it's not your place to say sorry.
Right.
It could be them, but you say it automatically as a reflex response.
Yes. I feel strange because I think compared to a lot of Americans, I am a little more on the polite side. Or maybe I just feel awkward in these situations. When someone bumps into me, I do feel a reflex inside to be like, sorry, even though they bumped me. And I do, part of me is like, all right, I'll say sorry, and then surely they'll say sorry back. They're the one who did it. And in America, that expectation just doesn't exist. Someone could bump into you and say, oops, and I wouldn't be shocked. If someone bumped into me, most of the time I would expect them to acknowledge it and be like, my bad, or something. But I guess the real truth here is there's such a bigger spectrum of answers you can expect from an American. Like, some will say sorry, some will barely say sorry, some will say nothing. There's no bounds to what they would say. And it sounds like in the UK, it's very normal, not only for everyone to be ready to apologize if they do something wrong, but also maybe even the person who got assaulted will apologize as well. And that is very weird in the United States. I don't see Americans changing that when going to the UK. That's another thing I'm noticing here, is a lot of these behaviors seem so deeply rooted in American culture and normal American behavior. I am quickly losing faith that Americans would ever be able to change these things. And now I'm totally starting to understand why the stigma of the annoying, loud, ignorant American tourist exists, because Americans are very set in our ways, and we do a lot of strange stuff, I'm noticing just from this video.
I think that's one of our automatic cultural ways in the UK.
And that's nice, by the way. Like, I have so much respect for that. And it says a lot about UK culture in general, the people of the UK, that this is a thing. People are, as a baseline, respectful, more apologetic, less ego. And that just sounds like a nicer civilization to live in. I actually really like this aspect of the UK. I wish we were more like this in America.
Yeah. So would your answer sort of be, don't be afraid to say sorry too often, or something like this?
Never be sorry to say sorry.
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 That should be a tattoo or something. Never be sorry to say sorry. The most British thing I've ever heard. Wow.
A cultural don't.
You
Hang
can
on.
word it in another way, so you can say do this.
Okay, so something I think that we do a lot in our culture is apologise frequently.
Yeah. So this is the second person in a row to comment on this, and I don't know what it's like in every country around the world. I don't know if America is the most extreme example of this, but Americans, it is totally hit or miss how apologetic Americans are. It depends on where you're raised, your parents, like your personality. There's a huge spectrum of how much Americans are going to be apologetic or respectful and all that stuff. It's a total crapshoot.
Probably quite meaningless sometimes, but sometimes it's an apology for inconveniencing someone else.
Right,
So, oh,
right.
I'm really sorry, I've just inconvenienced you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. And we end up running around apologising to everyone, probably not really meaning it.
I mean, saying sorry and not really meaning it is probably better than not saying sorry at all. I feel like Americans who experience this for the first time, if they went to the UK and were encountering this culture of more apologizing, more respect, it might like really, it would really shock Americans. Like they kind of not know what to do.
And so then what is it that you're kind of, let's say you're speaking to me and I'm like a non-native Brit. Are you telling me, don't be afraid if I apologise to you, or don't be afraid to over-apologise to us Brits?
Oh yeah, you can over-apologise all you want to us Brits because I think we probably love it.
I also have to appreciate the sort of sarcastic, passive-aggressive admission of guilt here, where she's like, yeah, we say sorry, we apologize all the time. So a lot of the time we don't mean it, but that's funny to me. But it's still like nice. I like it. And it sounds like people in the UK appreciate this as well, and would definitely notice if the absence of it, which would definitely happen with a lot of Americans.
So if you're standing, you have to stand on the right, and if you're walking, you walk on the left. Obviously, it's very busy in London. I don't know how many people live there, but there's a lot of people, and there's a lot of people you don't want to annoy there.
Okay, so
Yeah, I mean, back to this escalator one. Stand on the right, pass people on the left. Same thing in the United States. We're supposed to do this here as well, but goodness knows it does not always happen.
what would happen? Let's say I get up on the left and I just stand there. What happens?
You'd probably get into an argument. We've seen it happen, haven't we? Yeah, a lot of huffing, a lot of moving out of the way, barging.
Would it really start a full-fledged argument? He's talking about specifically in London, which maybe Londoners are a bit more, I don't know, aggressive and willing to be like, move! If you're standing on the left side of the escalator.
This and the other, a bit of an argy-bargy.
Argy.
That type of stuff.
Do you know what this person meant when they said the word argy-bargy?
I reacted to a video of British slang a while ago where argy-bargy was taught to me, and I have no idea what it means in this exact moment. No, this is so far from any word we have in America. I don't remember what this one meant.
Barging, this and the other, a bit of an argy-bargy.
But I remember it because it's so funny sounding. Argy-bargy.
Argy-bargy is British slang for a quarrel, argument, or for a fight. Now
It's a fight. You might start an argy-bargy on the escalator, of course. Okay.
would know this if you became a member of Easy English.
Oh, okay. He's pitching his Patreon, which I'm gonna skip by. Okay.
What would be the sort of punishment if you were to jump the queue
Ooh.
with Brits?
Well, that would be to go back to the queue and wait half an hour.
But would you be sort of reprimanded if you were to do it, do you think?
Yeah.
Would you really?
Yeah.
I have wondered this. I have wondered this as well. Like, if you do violate these cultural norms, things you should never do in the UK, if you do them, what is the punishment? I feel like a lot of people are just probably going to look at you funny and disapprovingly. That would be the first step. Then there's going to be the people who are going to say something to you, which for a lot of these things is deserving, honestly. If you're jumping the queue, you absolutely, someone needs to tell you. Like, you totally deserve to feel a little stupid because you're screwing a lot of people, like, by getting in front of them. And yeah, everyone should be pointing at you as you are forced back to the end of the queue.
I always kind of consider...
I do if people jump a queue.
Oh, really? You call it out?
Yeah.
Good.
That's quite direct, because us
Good.
Brits typically are quite
True.
passive-aggressive, right?
That's true, yeah.
In my mind, you'd hear a few tuts.
Oh, you definitely hear...
Tuts. Oh, the British tuts. Like that. Like, is that? It's a noise that is like voicing your disapproval without directly saying it. I was wondering about this as well because I know a lot of Brits are, well, more polite and maybe not wanting to get in a straight up altercation. So what's the like British indirect way of voicing your disapproval? It's tutting by the sound of it.
some tuts, and then someone would have the confidence to say something.
And
Yeah.
that's you.
Sometimes. Depends on my mood.
There's
Oh, not all heroes wear capes. That's great. You know what? So we are about halfway through this. This is a pretty long video, and it's very good. These things you should never do in the UK. So I think I'm going to stop here for now and continue the rest of this in part 2, just so I can take it slowly and really absorb all the information. But I'm really enjoying this so far. I'm actually learning quite a bit. And I'm also getting increasingly more concerned because I'm hearing the don'ts of British culture, and it's a lot of stuff that Americans, like, you could tell them, but I'm not convinced Americans, even if they knew this, would even be able to control themselves and behave like this, unfortunately. Because they don't even do it here in America. But I'm curious what we're going to learn about in part 2. And what other stuff you should not do in the UK. So I'm enjoying this quite a bit. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with what you think Americans and tourists should never do in the UK. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and UK culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.